Today is Wednesday, May 31st, 2023. I'm Tracy Caine with the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program at Oklahoma State University's Edmund Lowe Library. Today I'm talking to Juergen Janzen, a 1989 graduate of Oklahoma State and the dealer principal of Janzen Toyota here in Stillwater. We are in the ConocoPhillips Alumni Center on the campus of Oklahoma State University in Stillwater. I'll be talking to Juergen about his life, his business, his support of the Stillwater community, and how he has seen OSU change over the past 30 plus years. Upon agreement with Juergen, this interview will be archived at the OSU Library for future generations. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Let's begin by telling us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, raised, and what was your early life like?
I was born in Wichita, Kansas. My dad was going to Wichita State, actually, get his engineering degree. He was an electrical engineer for Cessna after he graduated. And so in 1976, we moved to Enid, Oklahoma, and my dad got in the car business there. One of those things that sticks in my head. He said that he made more money in the first 2 weeks selling cars than he did all month being an electrical engineer for Cessna.
Okay.
So a year later, my 1978, my dad and my granddad bought a dealership in Ponca City. Lived there for 2 years or 2.5. Then they sold that store, went back to Enid, which my granddad had started that store in 67, Oldsmobile GMC store, and currently it's GMC store in the family. So anyway, so I call Enid my home. Graduated in the Enid area. Actually went to Oklahoma Bible Academy, which started out in Mino and moved to Enid. So that's Cliff Note version of my youth.
What did you were involved in sports or academics or music? What did you do?
Was involved in sports all the way through. Really started when we moved to Enid because it was a small town, and the kids you ran around with, everybody was playing sports those days. So as I moved forward, Ponca City, I played 1 year of junior high football, got hit by a car, missed that semester of school, and then moved back to Enid and ended up going to Oklahoma Bible Academy. And at that school, you played every sport. So, and then to play baseball, you had to run track, which I'm not very fast. So I had to do shot put and long distance. So anyhow, but played soccer, basketball, and baseball primarily at the high school, junior high and high school level. Man, I was terrible at basketball. Terrible.
Okay.
So,
but you enjoyed playing.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
The getting hit by a car didn't impact your playing sports later on? No,
fortunately it didn't. They took my calf. I don't have a calf muscle in my left leg, but been fortunate. Got to play everything. Hadn't slowed me down yet. So
that's good. That's good. What made you decide to come to Oklahoma State?
Well, I could have played soccer for smaller, like Tabor College, small Christian schools. They had, I wasn't certainly a rock star kid. I mean, I'm good at that at that little level anyway, but not to play at major universities. And so, but I went to a small high school and just wanted to change the pace. So I got out of the sports and ended up coming to Oklahoma State. And joined a fraternity. My dad didn't want me to do that when I was, going through. He was concerned. My sister struggled in her 1 year at Oklahoma State, and she's done great for herself. But anyhow, so he was concerned about that might happen to me.
Okay.
So,
and evidently it didn't.
No, fortunately it didn't. I was not necessarily the best student. But did graduate in 4 years. My parents gave my sister and I the same deal that they would pay room and board or tuition and books, whichever is most expensive, or kind of like paying half. And we had our own spending money. At the time, the fraternity house was more expensive than tuition and books were. So I paid my tuition and books, and taught me a tremendous lesson, the value of money. Fortunate they paid part of it. I know people, and I know kids today that, young students, I should say, that are paying their own way, and that's tough. School's gotten more expensive as we've gone along.
It can be very tough, very tough. Why OSU? There are other universities in the state. Were you a supporter of OSU when you were growing up? Or?
Well, we got in the wagon wheel program, I guess is what that was, in the Jimmy Johnson eras of football. So I came up here a few times. But the major decision, because it's such a no, wait a second. So most of my friends went to OU, and I didn't want my collegiate to be like my high school. So I said, well, I'm going to go to Oklahoma State. And that's really how that happened. So,
okay. Well, that's fair enough. You lived in the fraternity. Which fraternity?
Sigma Chi.
Sigma Chi. Okay. What kind of activities were you involved with there, or extracurricular activities during your college years?
Kind of like the music thing in high school. I wish I would have played music, some music, because I think it's something you can do forward in life other than playing the recorder in grade school that you had. I don't know if they still do that, but I did some small committees inside the fraternity house. Unfortunately, I think it put me behind as a leader, and as I started my company. I wasn't involved enough at whether it was on campus or in the fraternity. Not that I didn't do certain things and, on smaller projects and committees, but I wasn't involved like I should have been in hindsight. Short-sighted, didn't really think about it. And, so I'm certainly involved today. I'm on Housing Corporation, great organization. You can impact a lot of lives with these young men, and watch these young men grow. It's pretty fascinating.
Any classes that you really liked as you were going through?
No, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to edit that.
Some people go, I really enjoyed X class.
Right. No, I know. Nothing that really sticks out other than some of the, there were some professors that you had that helped you learn that class. Right. Right. There's some, Brenda Master sticks out. I was a marketing major, so you had to have 2 stat classes. I'm guessing it's still the same. I'm not sure. And I put the second stat off until my senior year. And so anyhow, but she helped me. I struggled that first test, and, I got a C, but that wasn't, everybody said it was review, and it wasn't review to me because I took the first one in my freshman year, right, and, kind of forgot about that stuff. And so, she made an impact on me because she helped me, set me up with a tutor and got me going in the right direction. Trying to think of some other, he's passed away, but Zygmunt was my marketing. He was my advisor. Okay. And he was the one that informed me that if I didn't take second stat, I would prolong my collegiate career. So, anyhow, but I was not the best student. And so that was, part of my other things that you look backwards on and go, man, I wish I would have paid more attention. As I got into my junior and senior year, Dr. Ham, certainly I enjoyed strategies classes. The only C I got my senior year. I got a lot of those early on. It's the only C I got my senior year, and we became friends. And so he was impactful to me. He didn't give me a B or anything like that, which was and he just laughed about it. So anyhow, it's just kind of the Bob Ham that I think most people that remember him know.
Very good. Other than being involved in the fraternity, was there anything else that you activities that you were involved with across campus?
No, not really. And that's, back to the unfortunate side. I mean, I watch my daughters going through. They're both going to Oklahoma State. Well, my oldest one's graduated and going to law school now. Both of them in the same sorority, but both of them have been very active throughout their collegiate career. I mean, they're not the president of that sorority or anything like that, but they've learned some skills that they may not know that they're learning. As they go through these things, and so anyway, those are some of those. Yeah, I guess if you want to call it, it's a regret that you have as as an adult.
Sure, hindsight's 20/20.
Always.
Yeah. But you graduated 4 years, which that's very commendable. Not everybody does. What was your first position out of college? What was the first job that you had?
Well, I went to work for the Fred Jones Group. They used to be a major player in the automotive industry. They're in the Ford business, Ford Lincoln Mercury business. Primarily, they had other franchises, Porsche, and some other franchises as well. Started selling cars there in 1989.
And where was that?
In Tulsa,
Okay.
41st and Memorial. What I recall was they said I was the youngest new car salesperson they'd hired at that store. But so I wanted to go out and learn other things. Wasn't excited about moving back to Enid and working for the family business. Didn't know that I was going to get in the car business at the time. But when I graduated, I did several interviews. On a fourth interview with a company, and we were going through a mild recession at the time. And on the fourth interview, this branch director asked me why I wanted to do this instead of sell cars, and I replied, I'm not sure why I want to do that. I'm sorry I wasted your time. I got up and left. I mean, shook his hand, and so I got in the car business and moved forward from there. In fact, the reason we came to Stillwater was because they had a used car buyer that bought for the Fred Jones Group. His name's Preston Kelly, and he told me that I needed to talk to my dad and see if he'd help me get started in this to buy this agency here, and that's the short term how that happened. That's what started that ball moving.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. How did Janzen Toyota come to be?
Yeah, so talked my dad and my uncle into help me get started. And so we ended up signing the contract, and 90 days later, we were within 2 weeks. It was Olds and Cadillac at the time as well as Toyota, and General Motors told us that we were approved in 2 weeks, and we waited on Toyota for their approval. They wanted us to. General Motors wanted us to go run the company. Previous owner was there for 53 years and 31 days. Judson Bryan. And the 31 days was important because he made sure that he said it every time. So he in his time, he was quite influential. He was friends with Monroney, so they helped write the bill for the window stickers that are on cars and trucks, all new cars and trucks everywhere in the U.S. of A. Bill Lambert from, one of the family members of Lambert Construction. He was in General Motors Detroit hotel years and years ago, and they had a picture of Judson Bryan up there. So it's kind of a neat deal. Got started, and it was a disaster. I mean, it was challenging, very challenging. I don't think that he'd done parts inventory, and maybe never. It was downtown where Walgreens is today. I don't know if we can use their name or not, but
They probably appreciate the plug.
I understand it. So anyhow, it was, and then in 96, we moved into our new building, started in 95. So 5 years of time. It was probably what you thought was going to be the worst decision you'd ever talk your family into and really adversely affect them, as well as myself. Of course, I was 23 years of age, and so probably didn't have as big impact on if it wouldn't have made it. So, but it did. So moving into the new building kind of changed the propulsion of the company. greater awareness, not a drive-to location, kind of a drive-by, and kind of it really helped us move forward.
What kind of things did you learn, what kind of things did you take maybe from your education at OSU into this new venture?
Well, first thing, I did when we were, going through the approval process or waiting on the approval process, or really, I guess probably did this before, but, just kind of, created a strategy and a plan. Not that those can't change and sometimes they were harder to execute but that's the first thing that we did, is just say, this is, what do we have to sell? What do we have to do to make this, become profitable? And that proved to be a little more challenging, even, trying to stick to a plan. And it did okay. It was just not, what the expectation was, or maybe what my internal expectation was. So, but certainly used, those types of things of planning and structure and trying to set processes up. And, over the years you get, experience kind of helps you do those things. So,
the dealership that you bought here, was it Toyota and the GM product?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure the timeline. He picked up Toyota, I think in 76, which that's somewhere in that time zone. Another OSU alumni or family had it. And they used to be the Ford dealer in Ponca City. And so, I think that at some point they may, or however whatever they decided, but they decided just to stay with Ford. And so when that happened, Judson Bryan picked up the Toyota franchise.
Okay. Well, being in business this long, obviously, maybe with a rocky start, as you said, things turned around. Was there anything in particular that you can point to that made that big difference, or is it just a gradual process?
Well, yeah, it's probably several things, and it's a little bit like advertising. There's some of it you can really, really track, and some of it's arbitrary and top of mind maybe. But as we moved into the new facility, that created a greater awareness when we've got a presence on West Highway 51, 6th Avenue, and the brand started growing as well. The 92 Camry comes out, and that car was smoking hot, and that came out while we were downtown. So that created more awareness for the brand, and the brand's gotten bigger and bigger. It's, so those things, Toyota's helped us. We exist in an independent distributorship, and they're very hands-on, great partner. Both Toyota and Gulf State Toyota, tremendous partners. They help their dealers. They feel it's important that they are profitable. And so you don't have to do it, but they kind of give you some guidelines or here, we're going to set up these programs that help you, because they want us to take care of a customer and they want us to be good community partners. Mm-hmm. Toyota does a matching program for every dealer in the country. It's more impactful from what Toyota's calling a single point store, small market store, because it's the same dollar. It doesn't matter if this company's doing, large volumes of sales and service and parts. It's the same dollar amount to every Toyota dealership across the country. And I think that's fantastic. They feel it's very important to be, involved in the community, give back to the community, that supports you. And I do too. I think it's fantastic.
That's great. Well, obviously, taking care of your customers is a big part of what you do. Where did your passion for customer service come from?
Well, I without the customer, it's over. So it just, I always want to take care of the customer, because I want that customer for a lifetime.
Sure.
I just don't want them to sell them one car. I want to sell them, and I want to sell their kids' cars. That's kind of how that works. And retention is such a huge thing in the auto industry, just like it is in any industry. They want repeat customers. And so we had a training deal years and years ago that Gulf States put on, and the Ritz-Carlton had a process of, every associate can spend X amount of dollars on any consumer if they have a concern. And I put that into place. And so I want my staff to take care of our customers and because we want to be their partner as well. And so, that's really what's, propelled that and moved that forward, taking care of customers. And, I know like Stan Clark, he does a phenomenal job of customer service, taking care of a customer in an adverse situation. And there's not very many, we hardly have any, but, and so if you can take care of them on the front side, it's a lot easier moving forward.
Right. How did the car market change during COVID? Tell me about what happened with COVID and how it affected your dealership.
Well, when it first started, I was chicken little. I thought the sky was going to fall, and talked to mainly my wife, Lori. Start thinking about, well, gosh, I mean, what's, if everything gets shut down, what does that do? I mean, because there's still things that are expenses that you can't stop. But what ended up happening, and we didn't let anybody go during that time. We continued to pay everybody. Some people ended up not doing necessarily their job, but they did some minor repairs around, or painting, or whatever the case may be, whatever things we needed around the organization. And as time kept moving forward, the consumer, started coming back in. We, in our state, we were deemed essential because we were a repair facility mainly, and then they allowed us to sell cars. As well, they kept the whole dealership, so all dealerships in the state of Oklahoma open. And so it actually, the supply side went down and demand went up, or it maintained at a higher level than what supply side went. So our supplies dwindled. We're still struggling with that today, and that's 3 years gone by. Mm-hmm. And so we still struggle with enough supply and new and pre-owned, and it also affected the service and parts, or at least the parts for servicing our body shop as well, because there'd be cars sitting there and it need a part, and there's no one going to work, or if a manufacturer of whatever that widget may be only has 50%, they're not getting 50% of production. They're probably getting a quarter or less production because they need all these people instead of half of them, mm-hmm. based off of the different countries or protocol on COVID.
You're still struggling with that, you say?
Yeah, it's getting much, much better. Currently I think I've got 4 new cars on the lot that are not sold, when we have 70 to 100 new cars on the lot that are not sold. And so, we're selling a lot of products still before it comes in. But we're starting to get some stuff in that at least a consumer can see, feel, touch before they buy the vehicle. Sometimes they're, a lot of times for the last 3 years, the first time they drove a vehicle of choice was the one that they were buying, which is, it's crazy.
Much different than a typical car buying experience.
Correct. Yeah. And manufacturers as a whole, they still don't want to stack the lots as full. It's that at least that's what I read in the industry, articles, because they don't feel like they have to do that, because it gets expensive on their end, on the manufacturing side of it too. They have some representation, and then they can place an order or purchase a car that's on a dealer's lot.
I'll be darned. That is a big change. Talking about customer service, I know that Janzen Toyota has won the Toyota's President's Award many times. How many times? 23. And what does that consist of? For you guys, what do you have to do?
Well, first you got to take care of that customer, right? See, your retention is part of that, right? Currently, we're in our 5-state region where we run number 3 in retention, and that's service and sales on the service side. How many times that consumer comes in the service department for maintenance, and also on the sales side. So, which creates they bought a RAV4 and they come back and their next car is a Highlander or a Tundra or whatever that is, and then you have 2 Toyotas in the driveway, right? And so the customer satisfaction index is certainly a moniker of that, but if you don't take care of your customer, you're not going to retain them. And so all the testing, all the guides, your staff takes multiple courses throughout the year, whether that's in the sales side, parts, in the service side as well, technicians. You have to have certified technicians as well. Even our quick lube express maintenance technicians are they have a series of testing that they need to complete to gain certification. So
I'll be darned.
That's kind of the whole deal. I mean, certainly you have to be profitable 9 months of the year, right? So that's kind of in a cliff note. They've changed it a little. They've changed it a little bit here and there. They've made it a little more challenging, but we've been very fortunate to win the President's Award more than any other Toyota store in the state.
That's terrific. Well, it isn't just fortunate. It's a lot of work on your side, I'm sure. You talked about Toyota being wanting to make sure you're involved with the community that you're in. Obviously, you're very, very dedicated to the Stillwater community. What are some of the things that you've been involved with here? Well,
recently, in this community, the Stillwater Medical Center, some things have been joint ventures, some of them haven't. When they added the cardio unit, we were able to give a donation, and Toyota matched that same donation. So, which is the Janzen Toyota cardio room. We certainly utilize Meridian Technologies as well. We have a scholarship endowment there. I'm on that foundation board. My wife is actually currently on Meridian's board. In our industry, they've been a great partner as well. They have a great program for not only automotive or body or but whether it's HVAC or you can start a career path for those that don't go to the university level. We've also certainly been intertwined with OSU Okmulgee Tech, which Toyota's got a technician training program. They end up with an associate's degree. Last week met with the Jerome Jones, who works for Toyota Motor Sales North America, and kind of talked about what things we can do and help get, how they can help us utilize that program even better. That it's important that to Toyota, it's, that the technician coming out of there gets an associate degree. They work in and out of the dealership and in the classroom. But if there was an injury that they had, whether it was on the job or about doing something else that they could no longer perform that, they could at least use part of that, use that degree to help them in a different career path. So I think those things are, great. I don't want to belabor, but those are things that are, certainly important and passionate to me. The Lions Meadow of Hope, we certainly, in the adoption process and fostering program that they have, I guess that's been a passion of ours. So, and they've done a great job, at least, so, those are a couple of few of those things that we're certainly intertwined with right now.
That's terrific. You've been in the same town as the Oklahoma State University main campus for most of your adult working life. What's the biggest change that you've seen since you came to college?
Besides my hair loss?
Yes.
It's amazing to see how the campus has grown in facilities in the education side and the sports side. It's fascinating to see the growth. It's hard to think, 33 years I've been back in the Stillwater community, and it's you don't recognize campus. It's completely, different. And they've done a great job incorporating the facilities look and bricked out the OSU brick. I mean, it's fantastic, to see the growth and the student population has grown. It's tremendous. You can see it when the students are coming back, and it's just like there's a buzz in the air. I think it's fantastic to see all the changes that have really happened, especially with the facilities that they've, have been able to put together or raise the capital for. I think that's, fantastic and amazing at the same time.
Yes. Well, in your opinion, what do you think has remained constant with OSU throughout all those years?
Besides Old Central?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think Oklahoma State is, certainly our largest employer. They're certainly, a great, they're a partner to the city. I mean, if Oklahoma State were to, say they wanted to move to Tulsa, I mean, we'd all want to move with them, right? But what remains the same is Stillwater's a special place, right? You get small town living with big town atmosphere. You've got music, arts, sports, whatever your desire is. I mean, you can, it's like living in a big city, but you have a small community. It only takes you 15 minutes to get across town, right? I think that's great. I don't like doing it because, can't imagine living in Dallas or something like that, fighting traffic. So anyway, but the atmosphere to me has remained the same.
Yeah. I hear that from a lot of people. What plans do you have for the future, for the store, for you personally? Anything you might want to share?
Well, no, we want to continue to grow the company, take care of our customers. Those are immediate things. I've got, currently my daughters are not interested in coming into the business. Like I said earlier, one's in law school, the other one's kind of going a pre-med route. I'm not sure exactly what that direction is. She'll be a junior this next year here at Oklahoma State. So, I'm not ready to hang up my hat yet. So, just going to continue to, move forward and take care of my family and the consumers and my staff. I've, got a tremendous staff, lots of long-term, team players for us. And I always want to take care of them. They do the hard work.
Absolutely. That's pretty much the end of the questions that I had for you, except for one. Who comes up with the ideas for the commercials that you do on television?
Mainly Steve Ray. Yeah, mainly it's really Steve Ray. I mean, every once in a while we'll throw out something and he runs with it. He does the scripts so we certainly have another offshoot with a Chamber of Commerce but for the dealership, it's Steve Ray.
Very, very catchy. That's the reason I asked. Are there any other questions, answers that you have that you'd like to include?
Not that I can think of.
Well, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Tracy. Thanks for having me.